can't defeat my optimism.
Yeah. I was born in it. I was forged by it.
I'm the opposite of Bane.
Welcome to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two best friends try to find their next obsession, and maybe so will you. I'm Ryan Mion.
I'm Glenn Brown.
And this is episode 17.
Yeah.
3 more to 20.
Yeah. We're rapidly approaching 20.
And I gotta say, I think it's one of those things where it feels like we've already done 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Also feels like we've only done 5. There's just
a
weird...
It's very strange, yeah.
But we're episode 17. I have an opener.
Okay.
So I was going to do this as an opener last episode, but then we had to talk about Attack on Titan.
And
then that spiraled into this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't really put that much thought or time into this. Like, I don't have them like locked and loaded.
Okay.
And we'll make it a shorter draft. We'll say 3 picks.
Okay.
But we're going to say, like, how do I want to put this? Let's say we get 3 people on our team.
Okay.
And those 3 people are in charge of protecting us as well as trying to assassinate the other person.
Like the two of us in this scenario.
Yeah.
We're both picking a team of 3.
Yeah. We can't
and they
fight.
are protecting me and killing Ryan.
Trying to kill Ryan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The rules are they can't be real people. They have to be characters from movies.
Oh, okay.
They can't be a superhero or be connected. They can't have like any superpowers.
Okay. They have to be standard human beings.
Standard human beings, but they can't be a real person.
Okay.
And it can't be like Batman. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's like a superhero. So I'm going to say like...
Can they be technologically advanced?
Yeah, but I would like say they just can't... Like, they can have abilities.
Okay.
Like be hyper smart or hyper whatever.
Okay.
They just can't be a superhero.
Okay. Do I have to worry about like their motivations for protecting me, or just like it will be ingrained in them? They have to protect me.
That is like their core
I'm ready to go.
Okay. First one, go.
Okay. I'm going first?
Yeah.
Okay. Rick from Rick and Morty.
Oh, interesting. You went cartoon.
I did.
I think that's it. I think that's game. I don't think.
Is that allowed? Is that in our scope?
Because I was gonna, okay. So let's just keep going. I was gonna say John Wick.
That's a good one.
It's a good one, but
it's a good one.
Rick and Morty, man, that's a that's a big one.
It's one powerful dude.
Yeah.
John Wick is a good pick though. John Wick is a good one for like standard human. I did go outside the mountains a bit.
You went outside and it was a good pick. Okay.
Should I repick?
No. Keep going.
Okay,
we'll see if I can catch up.
Oh man, that was really my one hot pick.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe your 2 others will be so trash. But I mean, Rick and Morty, like Rick from Rick and Morty, I feel like that's Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
John Wick.
Yeah, now I gotta think of like.
Now I'm thinking cartoon. I was not even thinking animated.
I don't know why that was the first thing I jumped to.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Okay. Now I gotta think of something else though.
They can't have any superpowers.
That's tough.
Or abilities.
Yeah. All I consume is superhero stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you just go, oh, like the Hulk. Oh, it's like it's just
that's
a different.
Easy.
That's like a
that's
separate draft.
Yeah. I feel like I need an action movie star. I feel like John Wick was a good poll. I need an equivalent there. I'll go John McClane from Die Hard.
That's a good one. I don't. You know what? Who might actually be interesting is Kenny from South Park.
Okay, I know nothing about South Park.
The whole joke with him is that he just keeps dying.
Oh,
but then he just shows up the next episode.
He's just invincible.
So it's like
he cannot be killed.
Okay, he is a child to be fair, but having an unkillable person might be helpful.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say a similar thing. Then I'm gonna do Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious.
I was literally thinking
in his contract that he can't lose
die.
a fight.
Oh, geez.
So that's my third.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the dictator or the main character from Doctor Doomsday. It's just this dude that.
No, I don't know what that is.
I retract that.
Dr. Doomsday?
That. No, never mind. This is so hard. I'm glad we're only doing 3. I was literally, thinking Vin Diesel. I'm literally just thinking, how do I counter Rick? Oh, gosh. Blank. I'm just going to cut all this out so it feels like I just come up with the answer really fast. I keep going to Lord of the Rings. There's nothing.
Are there humans in Lord of the Rings?
Okay.
Yeah, there are.
Here's a really weird. Again, maybe this is an ability. The hands from the Looney Tunes animation where the illustrator is drawing the world.
What?
I think he's like low key a god.
That's so.
Actually, he's great at
Okay.
He's great at countering Rick because Rick is a cartoon.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with you know what episode I'm talking about with Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
So just the hands, the illustrator hands.
Okay. I guess that's human. Okay.
All right, that's our draft. This is the worst.
This is the weirdest draft ever.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. I'm here for it.
I'm not. I'm leaving. All right. I think you won, but I'll put in the polls. Please leave a vote. Let us know who won.
Yeah, I think Rick takes it.
I think Rick takes, but I don't know.
He is an unstoppable madman.
Maybe Animator takes him down though.
If you're gonna come up with anything, it's gonna be that. I guess
it's gonna be that's the one thing
you
I
had to
play.
Abstract out a plane of existence.
Yeah, exactly. Just the hands.
Yeah.
All right. Our recommendation was Northgard.
Northgard. Yeah.
Yeah. This episode feels a little spoiled for me because I feel like I already know your opinion and I already know what you're recommending.
Yeah, we kind of chatted too much about this episode beforehand, but that's okay.
We hung out. How dare us?
Yeah.
So, Northgard, real-time strategy. What'd you think?
I feel like the best word I can describe my feeling towards this game is smitten. I'm smitten with this game.
This game. Okay.
I just it's not like it's something that like blew me out of the water. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. The systems are like so good and like, but it's just like it's the perfect version of like Civ or Age of Empires for me personally. Okay. I don't know if it's for everyone.
Yeah,
but it's just got like the perfect amount of everything where it's got a decent amount of strategy that'll keep you interested each game without it being overly complicated and bogged down with all these numbers going on. You know? Yeah. And
do you feel like Civ is kind of like a heavy numbers strategy?
A little bit. Civ can get a little I don't know, just a little complex for me. I know that's only true for me. Like that's not everyone.
Only you. No one else has ever
no one else on
experience.
The earth. But I don't know. Like Civ, I would kind of just pick one civilization and go at like one basic strategy because I feel like it would take me so long just to get that down.
Yeah.
To then branch into like other win conditions and like really maximizing certain like resources for these win conditions, and like there's so many different like routes or like things you need to do to hit that win condition that it
feels like
it's just a
the
lot.
race is so long that once you learn how to do one, you're kind of like, well, I'm just gonna do this one.
Yeah,
I don't like unless you have a lot of time to put it in the game, which neither of us do. Like
and it just feels like Civ gets like really bogged down with all this stuff that's going on, and it's turn-based, so you're like waiting for everyone to do all their things. And if I finish all my things before everyone else does, I'm like, wait, am I not doing something? Like, why did I finish my turn super early? But yeah, it just feels like there's almost too much going on that it's like
and to be fair, it's like a game that's supposed to simulate the world.
Yeah,
like
and
world
that's
domination. And
the-
like that is the
that is the
tier
game.
and the lane of the game.
Yeah.
But for you, it
For
feels
me,
like too much.
Yes, for me it feels like too much, and Northgard is like the perfect amount of complex, like,
Yep.
and like speed and amount of time it takes to play a game,
Yep.
and like environmental randomness and
Mhm.
like complexity of the different wind conditions. Like everything was like just the perfect sprinkled in amount,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like we played a game with another friend of ours, Eric, who hi Eric. And we basically played like 1v1v1v1 with an
And
AI,
then we threw
right?
an AI. Yeah. Robot.
Yeah.
Computer.
And obviously I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because
So I'm going to interject for a second.
yeah.
The first game was really funny because Glenn bought the game, Eric bought the game. I've played a couple games, but as I have said multiple times, like I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
And so we jump into the game, and I'm like, Glenn, have you played the tutorial or any of it? And you're like, nope, this is my first
Yeah. First go at it.
How'd that go?
You know what? It was great.
Okay.
I legitimately was surprised in how easy it was to just jump into the game.
Yeah.
I didn't need a tutorial. I didn't play a campaign. I didn't do solo mode. I
Yep.
did nothing like that. I just hopped in and it started giving me like tutorial prompts on
Yep.
like how things work. And obviously I'm not going to win the game because I'm taking the time to read these things, and there's no turns. Like it's real time.
Yeah, you're not trying to
running.
You're not trying to win at that point. You're trying to survive, which was
Yeah.
hilarious.
I'm just trying to
because
figure things out.
I would say maybe every 20 minutes I would hear, "Why are all my villagers dying? They're all dying. Why am I out of wood? Where's the it was just like screams from a distance of just like and I was like, you would be like, everyone's dying. I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then like winter would pass, you're like, okay, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. But that was fun.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
Like, I wasn't. The other thing was like it seemed like the game wasn't very war centric. If you don't want it to be.
Yeah, that's what I like. Because that's the thing I love about Civ is that there are so many better ways, or not better. Sorry, there are so many like interesting ways to win. That's not just domination.
Yes.
And in fact, domination is really hard to do in Civ.
I would even say domination is not fun in Civ. Because as soon as you enter combat,
If you're playing with friends,
yes, if you're playing with
Because
friends, which I feel like I'm only gonna play these games with friends. I'm never sitting down for a solo thing with these types of games. But in Civ, if you play with friends and you enter war, everyone needs to now like take sequential turns instead of all taking your turns at the same time. And suddenly it's like, well, I guess this game's gonna take 6 more hours because I initiated combat, and it's just like.
And you can't like
really slow.
not have it because it's a massive part of the game.
Yeah,
and then I feel like with Age of Empires, it's only combat. Like yes, there are other ways to win, but it's you're mostly gonna win by combat.
Yeah,
and like it's just who has the biggest army or who has the best economy to keep cranking out soldiers.
Yeah,
and I just feel like with Northgard, there's that feeling of like you feel like you have a second. To like not push like combat. And then even when you do get into combat, to me, and like Justin was telling me about like pros that he watches play it, and he's like, this is like, it's like a different game. Like they'll like build up a really big economy and then turn every single one of their villagers into combat units and then just rush it.
Just
I'm like,
run over someone.
And I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah. See, I think I was getting a sense of this game is one of the things that we always like in games is really easy barrier to entry and really deep. After
high
the fact,
ceiling.
right? High ceiling, like you got plenty of room to grow in it. I feel like Northgard's got that, in it, which I love. It's like it was so easy just to jump in game one and like I know I'm not gonna win, but I kept up. Like I wasn't like,
and
I wasn't starving all of my people and dying like right off the bat.
And the thing I'm feeling with Northgard right now is like I'm still learning the timing and the tempo of the game. But then it's cool because it's like it has a little like Civ does this well. Age of Empires I think is kind of in the sense of like every civilization or every clan in this game in Northgard feels so different.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the replacement of a building or a unit. It's your win condition is totally different.
Yeah.
Where Age of Empires it can be very much like you just get this unit instead of this unit, which means you can you have better archers, so
Yeah.
you have to use archers. Where this is like, hey, maybe my combat's not as good, or maybe I can time things a little differently. So it just feels like that's where a lot of the fun and the learning comes into, is like thinking, not only do I understand the general tempo of how everything should move, but then figuring out where does my clan like peak?
Yeah.
And where do others peak, and how do I stop that from happening?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you mentioned tempo. Like, that is another thing that's really good in this game. Is I feel like in Age of Empires or Civ, I always feel like I'm 5 turns behind.
Yeah.
I always feel way behind, and I'm always trying to play catch up. But in Northgard, like, I feel like I was oscillating between, I got a good system running here. I'll let it run a couple turns, and then something would happen. I'd be like, oh crap, and I'm like frantically trying to pick stuff up. But even when I'm frantically trying to put stuff together, it's not like, I have like 20 things pinging me that I now need to fix.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm out of food, and I need to like move a couple things around here to like boost that food. Like, it feels like scary, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, an event is happening, without it feeling like so overwhelming to you. It's like, I see a path forward.
And I think it has to do too with like how limited you are on how many buildings you can build, or how far you can build. So it's like, it really goes like, you can't just start sprawling out your civilization immediately. There is this pacing, and I think that's the thing about it for me, that is like, the pacing creates this much more casual feel to it, but everyone's on that same pacing. So it's not like you're playing it and I'm playing it, and because I can move faster and think faster, my civilization's like, eventually that happens, but it feels like I can't apply my Age of Empires or Civilization way of thinking about this. It's kind of its own new tempo that we're both figuring out.
Yeah, and it also forces it. It doesn't force you to manage and be tedious with things you don't want to manage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to constantly crank out a worker for you, because you're always going to need workers. Where in Civ, I have to constantly, like, go into the city and make sure it's making a worker. There's just like, there's like, what's it called? Quality of life improvements, like, to this game, where it's just like, hey, you don't want to manage this, and you're just going to be cranking them out anyway. So the game will just auto-generate it for you. Why do you need to like manage that? Or even just, I was thinking about how like every quadrant of land can only store like 3 or 4 buildings. I think it's 2 or 3, and then you upgrade it to 3 or 4 or something. And in Age of Empires, I'm like constantly worrying about the location of all of my buildings,
which matters in this, but in a different way.
Like, I enter a new territory, and I'm like, there's fertile farmland here. Just slap a farm down. Doesn't matter where. Like,
and then you're thinking,
I'm not going to run out of room to like. I'm not going to run out of physical room because I didn't like space the buildings out properly or anything like that. Like, and there's plenty of room for the 3 buildings that can fit here. Just slap them down. You know. You don't have to worry about it.
And that's where I think also the strategy comes in. Is you go, okay, this space only has room for 2. So how can I then play into that maybe a little bit? Like, like the fertile land, that means I'm also going to need to put a silo. Is there any other materials? No. Well, maybe then I just put a house or a war camp or whatever. And so it's like you're doing the city planning that Civ wants, but faster, and it doesn't feel like I need to spend 30 minutes thinking about which tile to use and all this stuff. And I think it's one of those things too. Like, it was interesting. You, Eric, and I were talking about like games that we like and what kind of games to get into. And like, we threw around Diablo. And it's like, we're both in that stage of life right now where it's like, we want to feel like we completed something. And you get that from Civ, you get that from Age of Empires, like, but there's just something about this that creates this casualness to it. But we also know that there's depth if we want to go there, similar to Magic. And it's not grindy. And I think that's the thing is like this. I don't know if this is full. I don't know if I even fully agree with the statement I'm about to say, but like, it feels like it's fun the whole time.
And
I don't feel that's the case with Age of Empires or Civ.
I agree.
There's time, like,
there are fun moments
when you start in Civ is so fun because you're like fighting barbarians and you're figuring this out, and then there's kind of that peak where like, what the hell am I doing now?
You're just like sitting there like hitting next turn.
And it's just
next.
exactly.
It's just boring.
And like Age of Empires, you get to the point where it's like, when you start, you need to be on such an autopilot that you're not really thinking creatively. You're just
Yeah.
and I'm sure like the better you get at Northgard, that's also going to show up.
Sure, yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just thought it was like,
yeah, and I have hours and hours playing Civ just because it was a fling game that we kind of got into for a while. I have never once finished a game of Civ.
Really?
Never once have I reached the end of a game of Civ. It just never happens.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's also
like,
really, it's also like, Civ is for a certain person, and sorry to cut you off, but like,
no,
there's that feeling that can show up with games that are that long. That's like, if I don't win, it's gonna be so devastating.
Yeah,
because of
like
all the hours that I've put into this. Where it's not Northgard's like, oh, I lost. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do another
game. Yeah,
exactly.
let's go again.
In one sitting, you know.
Which is okay. So I want to go into our second game we played. I actually really enjoyed, and I
thought it was really fun.
It was I had things figured out now. It's like it's like a lot of games where like, okay, the first game I just spent learning how to play, and like probably about halfway through the game I realized how to play, but it's too late.
It's too you're
so that second game I'm like, oh, I got this.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I can get going, get moving on this, and I started doing it. Now I wasn't aiming for a certain win condition, but I was just doing general. These are the things I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
And the three of us were on a team, which made it a lot easier to learn and stuff. And I actually ended up being like a key player in getting the win condition, which felt really great. You know, and that happened literally. I'd only been playing the game for 2 hours, and I like helped achieve the win condition. It felt great.
Yeah, we did the map victory, which I just love that mechanic.
Also
it's
a
so
great
fun.
mechanic.
Super fun.
So win conditions. There's the map. All the different maps
there's
have
a total
one.
of 5. So it's the map, which every map, and you can like customize all this, but like every map has a different win condition. I think there's 3 in total that are randomized.
Okay.
And then you have lore victory, which is kind of similar to a science victory
In Civ, yeah.
And then you have fame. It's not currency, but it's like winning through like your economy.
Yep.
And then military victory.
Yep. Which I feel like once again is the perfect amount of win conditions without overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Like you have all these different routes.
They're all straightforward. I think every clan can do it. Some clans are better
Yep.
at getting it than others.
Yep.
And I think that's also something that's kind of cool about it is like every clan kind of has its personality. So if you jump into a game and someone's picking a clan, if they know anything about Northgard, you can already predict what they're going
to do.
Because you're like, oh, you're the Wolf clan. You're going for military. I need to get my military up sooner to defend now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the Boar. I gotta start taking out combating you from getting lore.
Yep. Yeah.
So
you don't know this, but Eric and I played again last night, and we played the two of us on a team, V2, V2, V2.
Okay.
So we had
4 teams of 2.
4 teams of 2. 3 of the teams being AI.
Cool.
1 team being us. I completely slaughtered that game.
That's amazing.
I just like game 3. I was like, oh, I'm owning this. It's just that barrier to entry was so good. So I was like, I feel like I already game 3 can aim for a win condition and understand what to do. Whereas Civ, no way. I have to do hours of research to figure out how to achieve a win condition in Civ. But in this one, I chose the Boar and I went for the lore win condition, and I was so far ahead in lore of everyone. Like, I was just crushing it the whole time, and it felt so good.
That is my one thing that I'm interested because like Justin would my brother Justin would always go for a science victory. Well, it feels like he would always go for a science victory because it's the one that you can kind of stay back, huddle in, and win.
That's what I did, yeah.
And I'm curious, like in Northgard, what are ways to combat that?
Yeah, I feel like you got to send military units at him because I never had a military. I didn't create.
Yeah, you just
I created like maybe 2 military units.
That's what I've
and
experienced.
I just stayed hidden.
That's what I've experienced in the past. And what difficulty were the AI?
I think they were normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have felt if you play like 1v1v1, and then you do that, you get crushed pretty quick.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like surprised when we were doing the teams of 3. I was like, they are not as aggressive.
I never entered combat with another.
Yeah. So like
civilization.
Boar is like that's amazing. Like that's what you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm I love it. I think it's such a cool game.
It's great.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's like a lot of clans we haven't tried. I know there's mod support. That would be interesting.
Like I said, it's got that high ceiling. So like I feel like I understand how to play the game so quickly, but also there's room for grow. Like I'm excited to keep playing it, and like it's always going to be like there's something about it that's cozy too. You know what I mean? It's a cozy game. The aesthetics. We didn't talk about the aesthetics. We got to talk about the aesthetics.
I wish you had played Albion like online, because that's like it's got kind of Warcraft, like not World of Warcraft, but like original Warcraft real-time strategy, which I don't know if you know.
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't played that.
Yeah, it's like the how would you describe it?
I mean, it's an isometric, like cartoony kind of vibe, but it's just it's got a very like colorful, magical kind of
everything
tint to
feels
it.
mythical.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, when it gets like rainy and the map gets foggy.
Yeah,
it's just like
the weather conditions are just really good, because it's like it's really foggy, and like I don't know that has mechanical ramifications.
It just makes it so it's harder to see the map. So if people invade,
but you just can't see it because it's foggy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's great.
Yeah,
like, and it does affect you, because it's like, wait, where's that worker I'm trying to find?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like, and that's just
little things.
Simple and fun and great.
Yeah. I love also just like how much the map is kind of a character in the game too.
Yeah,
where like
it provides the
Age of Empires,
randomness.
it's more of, you know, the map is going to dictate maybe where I get resources or how I move my armies, which obviously is important. But like Northgard is like the whole game is built off the map.
Yeah,
it's it's like getting territories. It's having to fight for
you're
those
fighting the land
for those territories, and then like the land throws all these different like events at you.
Yeah,
and like they're just they're fun and
it's great. I feel like I need to be better at tracking those events, like when they're coming up. And I kind of wish maybe there's a way to do it. I kind of wish the mini map in my lower left was bigger. I feel like I can't tell where resources are that I need.
I know you were like, where's stone? I can't see stone.
I'm trying to find stone. But the mini map is like so small and cluttered. But I feel like there's a setting or something.
You have to be able to expand it.
Yeah, but I think in the game I played with Eric too, it was like this huge like griffin bird just flew over my nation. I was like, oh, cool. I don't think that does anything, but it's cool.
Well, you can find it, and if you restore it, it scouts out areas for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a scout from another player. So being able, and then it was like the 3v3. I was like, we're gonna be doing a lot of combat, and I'm like, I need to like work with these giants.
Yeah, that was cool.
So
that was cool.
I just love it, and then it's cool to like. I feel like I know this isn't true for you, but like I feel like my experience with you with video games has been like, is it a first-person shooter? No, then I'm probably not going to get that into it.
Yeah, I was pretty heavy on the first-person shooters.
Not to say that you don't like non-first-person shooters, but there's not really there's not really a lot of games that are not first-person shooters that you're like, let's keep playing this.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the time to play it.
Yeah.
Like first-person shooters just revolve around matches that are 30 minutes to an hour.
That's
which
a good point.
Are the perfect length. I can hop in, hop out. That's where I'm at in life, you know?
Yep.
Whereas when it's not a first-person shooter, more often than not, they focus on like, oh, this game is going to take 10 hours, but like you do it in 2-hour chunks. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm never going to come back to it after a 2-hour chunk because like I'll hop on a week later and one of the people I was playing with can't hop on tonight. So it's like, well, I guess we got to find something else.
It's the whole D&D thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I would love to play a really long campaign, but the idea of being able to have that many people play consistently just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen that often. Yeah.
Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah. I mean, it works great in college. You know?
Yeah, exactly. When you have no real responsibilities.
Yeah, but then you get married and have kids, and
it's like
that's just what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. How many teeth?
How many teeth?
We got to get a guess.
I know. I hate this. The scale's growing old on me.
Not as old as these teeth.
Not as old as these teeth. Oh man.
This was such because I had 3 recommendations.
Yeah.
This one was such a like throwaway. And
really?
It was like I feel like it was like a game that I was like, yeah, I like this game and I think you might like it too. but like I didn't expect you to get hooked, and I didn't expect me to get excited about it again because I wasn't. I had been playing it.
You haven't been playing for a while.
A very long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought this was one of your better recommendations. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
All right.
I feel like I thought the same thing about Notion. Like I feel like every once in a while,
the best one, man.
every once in a while,
more
we throw
stuff
one
like
out
Notion, please.
there. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go a solid like 27 out of 32 teeth. Yeah. And you got molars, you got canines, you got front
You can do
teeth.
it all.
You got a good mix in there.
Yeah. Okay, it's a good variety.
You can do it all.
Your day-to-day
It's
life
well-balanced.
is not like challenged by the.
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah, we need a new scale. Yeah, smitten.
I like that.
Smitten with it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do think like our TV shows and movie, like that Venn diagram there's less common ground. Our video games, there's more.
Yeah, we have
then
more overlap.
Our life habits, it's like almost exactly the same.
Exactly. Exact circle.
Yeah, it's an exact circle. So it's like
Yeah,
anytime you're like, hey, this life, like this organization thing or this like habit thing, I'm like, I'm in. I'm 100%.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta pull out more of those.
So we have a little time because there's just nothing to conflict about or yell at each other about. So
yeah, we're not gonna heat
just like a good episode. Just nothing. Yeah,
it's
nothing
a cozy
heated.
episode.
Yeah, a cozy episode. It's raining outside. It's
fits the game.
Yeah,
fits
exactly.
The game. Yeah.
So something we pitched. I talked to you a little bit last time we met.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to shop talk a little bit.
So we'll talk on here. So there's a couple things, but the major one in my head right now is this idea of longer recommendations.
Yeah. I like this
something
idea.
that I have been feeling is there's stuff I want to recommend to you. I know there's stuff you want to recommend to me as well.
Yep.
But to expect the person to finish it in 2 weeks or even a month is like,
or even finish a substantial chunk of it in that amount of time, so you can talk about it. It just isn't feasible.
Like ludicrous.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great because it allows us to crank through stuff, and like we've just had to kind of find things that are shorter.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to kind of have this idea of like we can throw these longer recommendations out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure like what time we'll do this or like how this will look, but almost we were playing around this idea of like every 6 months or maybe even every certain amount of episodes. Yeah. Maybe that's our special thing. Episode 20, we do our first long recommendation.
And it's like episode 40 or something. We come back to it.
Yeah, and I think the idea with that would maybe be like we would review. It would be like a longer episode. We would review, and then we both recommend each other something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then what's the next episode? Because the idea too is that the show would then keep going.
Yeah.
And then we would reconvene or have touch points about these longer recommendations.
Well, I think it would kind of just be like an intermediary episode.
Yeah.
Where
that's a good point. Yeah.
Where like the previous episode, like let's say I recommended something to you, and then like for this episode we're gonna pause and talk about the long-term ones, and then when we come back to the next episode, it's the thing I recommended to you.
100%.
That kind of thing.
Okay, I like that. That's cool. We also, we won't say on this episode, but we also had some ideas around episode 20 about some fun things that we're thinking about that.
Yeah.
Again, one of the biggest things that we're trying to do is not just, I think we finally found our groove for like the episode, setting up, posting.
Yeah.
I think we found that groove. And so to try and keep that consistent and then find other areas to play.
Yeah.
And kind of hopefully find things that you guys like and help this podcast grow. Anything else?
Yeah, I think that was the major one. Yeah, the long-term projects. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this now too. For episode 20, we're planning on getting on other platforms.
Yeah.
We'll keep kind of saying that. We'll keep running this by for every episode, but like when that comes up, it's important for the podcast to grow. If you go check that out,
definitely,
and share that.
And it's huge, especially on Apple Podcasts. I think it's huge if you leave a review within like the first week of that happening. It's like so crucial.
When we come out, like obviously we'll be at episode 20. The 20 episodes will then go to Apple because we're only on Spotify right now.
Yeah.
So again, just like this is our little ad.
Yeah, a little
break
ad in the
ad
middle
break,
here
right?
for ourselves.
It's just like
yeah.
when that episode 20 comes out and we do
Yeah.
go to these other platforms, especially Apple, to go run over there, give us a review.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully 5 stars.
Maybe just hit play on all the episodes and let your phone sit there or something.
Yeah, hit play, go to bed.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, it's if you want to keep hearing this podcast, that's
Yes.
like something that is so immensely helpful.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you money or anything,
No,
but it means so much.
And
Yeah.
like my hope is that this podcast, you can find something that you enjoy and then send it to the people who you think would also get obsessed about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
That's the whole point of this. It's like
Is hopefully you latch on to Northgard or something,
Northgard.
and then you're like, oh, my friends would really like Northgard, and suddenly you're all playing Northgard.
There
That's
you go.
great, and we're
Yes.
bringing some happiness into the
Please.
world.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And we're back. All right, Glenn, you have a recommendation.
Yes, I have a recommendation for you. You already know what it is. It's kind of been spoiled, like we said.
I do want to say one thing.
Yeah.
For this
Yeah.
recommendation, since we just did a video game, I thought we probably shouldn't do another video game back to back. Sound good? No.
Sorry to
Let's hear-
say,
Yeah.
you're getting hit with a video game.
Okay.
So this one I've actually had like in my quiver for
Yes.
quite a while. I wrote this down as a recommendation before we even started the podcast, but I was just kind of waiting for the right moment, and I think it's time. We hit the time.
You were waiting for the right moment in our relationship to tell me.
No, just in the vibe of the podcast. Like, I knew this was a good one, but I wanted to like get some episodes under our belt and like talk about some maybe more current stuff, and because this is a little old. But
Okay.
yeah, you have actually already seen me play this video
Yes.
game. I think
Yep.
we were at like a bachelor party, and I was showing you it. But this game is called Hades.
Yes.
What's your knowledge on what have I
Same
spoiled already?
developers as Bastion and do you know Bastion?
That sounds extremely familiar.
I think it's the same developers.
Okay.
Which I've played that and really enjoyed.
Okay.
But it's a roguelike, isometric.
Mm-hmm. And for those who aren't that deep in video games, roguelike means it's like the game Rogue. And the general concept is that you're doing like runs, like
I would say like death is part of the play loop.
Yes.
It's not just failure, it's sometimes resetting, but something stays consistent. So the idea is like you're given challenges that you are too weak to fight against.
You're purposely supposed to like run
Fail,
out into whatever world it is, fail, and get sent back somewhere, or like restart and do it all over again. But you've gained
Some sort of
both
buff.
knowledge of the game and buff and
Dark Souls,
mechanics, or
things like that. Yep.
a lot of games like that.
Zomboid.
Yeah, Zomboid is a bit of a roguelike.
Roguelike,
That's a good point. So this quickly for a while became my favorite Switch game. I think it's only topped by Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
In my
And you haven't
Switch
played the
game
newest
category, I
one
haven't
as
played
well.
Tears of the Kingdom yet, which I got to get on. But once again, it's just so much time.
So much time.
I actually heard about this on the Besties podcast. It won their Game of the Year
Really?
award in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, this was their Game of the Year by like it was like no competition. This was their top
Really?
game. Yeah.
So that's the thing is like I have little to no excitement to play this game.
Oh,
other
really?
than what you have told me that it's good.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm not usually drawn to roguelike games.
Okay.
I
would say I'm not generally either.
but the fact that you like it so much, I go, okay, there's something here, and I'm willing to try it.
Okay.
I really like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah. So it's got 10 out of 10 on Steam.
Okay.
So it's really highly rated. It got a BAFTA award.
I don't know.
Which is like the British Academy of Film and
I love that
TV.
so many recommendations you surround by other people's ratings.
I know you don't value my opinion on things.
I don't value other people's opinions on things either.
Okay, I'll skip them then. Fine. I'm trying to back up my case.
But if it is like a really good game that's getting a lot of accolades, that's one thing. So like,
yeah, it's getting a lot of accolades.
But I'm just being like, what was the Wave Kings? That was the other one. You were like,
yeah, I was like best rated book on Goodreads.
Yeah, and it was after I read it. So you're like I already have my opinion on it.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is very highly rated.
Very high rated. And I think the reason why is there are a lot of roguelike games. Especially on Switch. It's like the perfect platform for that kind of game. Yeah. But I think the setting and plot of the game works so beautifully for roguelike.
Yeah, you were kind of explaining this.
The mechanics of the game and the plot of the game are so perfectly intertwined that it's like beautiful to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The theme and plot of the game doesn't feel divorced from its mechanics.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the concept of the game is that you are the son of Hades.
Okay.
The Greek god of the underworld.
Yep.
Right? So the concept is that you're kind of a teenage boy kind of thing where it's like, I'm done doing my dad's bidding. I don't want to be in hell anymore.
Yeah.
Get me out of this underworld. Like, I'm leaving.
Yep.
And he's like, sucks for you. You don't get to do that. Like, you're my son. You're going to stay here, work for me, blah, blah, blah. And you have like siblings that are like hanging around. But you then decide, okay, I'm going to break out of the underworld. And you are currently, your home and your like bedroom and house and stuff are at the deepest part of the underworld because that's where you live.
Yeah.
So you now need to fight through the underworld to get out of it.
That's cool.
Right? But when you die, like all human beings and gods, you go back to the
Hades,
underworld, right back to
cool.
Hades. So every time you die trying to get out of the underworld, you get sent right back to Hades' desk.
It's not like an arbitrary like reset.
Yeah, no. It's like part of the plot. Yep. So like you go out there and you're like, ha, Dad, I'm going to get out of here and fight my way and like live my own life. And you die pretty quickly and get sent right back. And you have to stroll right up. Like the first thing you see is Hades sitting at his desk and he's like, what a surprise. Welcome back. It's that kind of thing. And you're just like over and over and over again, because that's what a roguelike is, getting this like interaction with Hades where he's like, you're never going to do it. Like just stay here and like do what I tell you to do. But you're like, no, I'm a rebel. I need to get out of here. So like you're motivated to just keep going on runs, not for mechanical reasons, like you want to boost your character, but for the plot. You want to get out of hell, you know? And they do all these like really playful interactions with the gods, and you're meeting like all of these other like Greek mythological characters. And like I think there's a couple like they're not gods, but they're like Greek heroes. I'm forgetting their names
Demigods?
now. No, they're not even demigods. I think they're just like they were like humans. Yeah, like Hercules is a demigod, but I'm thinking of maybe Achilles. I don't know.
He's a god.
Okay, he's a god. So, but there's other people, like there's people hanging out in this house with Hades. Like you have siblings and you have humans who have died and are Greek heroes. Like in Greek mythology, like even like good people go to the afterlife in
Hades is not like
it's not
hell.
Yeah, it's not like a necessarily bad place. Like there are good tiers
of Hades.
Of the underworld that like are good to be in. You know, like it's not like the Christian conception of heaven and hell. But you like see these people, and some people are like, what are you doing? Like just play your part. And other people are like, hey man, I'm rooting for you. Like I'm here for you. So they'll like actually they'll like chat with you and be like, hey, like I'm really rooting for you. I wish I could get out of here too, but like you're stronger than I am, so I believe in you. Here's a little boost, you know? And they like start giving you stuff. And then there's other like your siblings and stuff will be like the game is structured where you like enter rooms like dungeons, and they change depending on what level of hell you're in.
Got it.
But you'll like get to the end of a layer of hell, and like your sibling will show up, and it'll be like a boss battle, and they're like, "You little brother, you need to be put in your place," and they'll kill you and send you right back home.
Good.
Like there's just all these really playful interactions happening, and then constantly you'll be
because it's not really. It sounds like the whole idea is not necessarily played straight, in the sense of like. It's not like Greek mythology, period. It's Greek mythology with this kind of playful
some spice to it.
Twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do such a great job playing with that. Because there's also like really fun weapons that are like Greek mythology weapons that you can use to like fight and get out, and you're unlocking those and upgrading them. But then like really cool things is like throughout your travels to the underworld, you'll see a boon pop up, like a god's boon, and it'll be like a little lightning bolt, and you'll pick it up, and it'll be a message from Zeus. And Zeus will be like, "Hey man, like I think you should be up here too. Like here's a boon. You can now like electrically shock people. I'll give you a little bit of my power, you know. And like let's get you up here, you know."
Yeah.
But then you start like keep going, and suddenly there's two boons in front of you, and it'll be like a lightning bolt and a little heart, and it's like Aphrodite and Zeus.
Yep.
And if you pick Zeus's, Aphrodite's like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Why didn't you pick mine?" You know.
Yeah.
So then you like actually start like building relationships with these gods and stuff. It's so good.
What was
just
what was the point in the game for you where it clicked?
Where it clicked. Oh man, it was pretty quick.
Okay.
It was pretty quick. It didn't take long for me to understand why this game is
So,
very good. I think a lot of it is finding the right weapon for your play style.
Okay.
Like I very quickly latched, like I finally found a weapon that was like, ooh, this makes sense with like the way I play video games.
Yeah.
And like, cause all the weapons are really different. So some people are like really into like creative combos, and one weapon will do that well. And then other people just want to kind of button mash.
Yeah.
And there's another weapon that'll do that well, but it won't do well for combos. And like vice versa. So like you can really find a weapon that matches your play style, which I also liked. But yeah, there's just like so many fun interactions going on. And one of my favorite parts is all of the like messages from the gods and like all the texts that's happening is all voice acted, and voice acted so well.
Okay.
So you're never sitting there like reading everything, these long messages.
Yeah.
Like you see a message and you get excited because it'll be like someone voice acting it very well.
It's not just text.
Yeah.
And then you click through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the thing you think that I'm going to get stuck on? I'm going to go, I love this game, but...
I think with most roguelikes, every once in a while you'll hit a part where it's like, this is feeling a bit grindy. You know, where it's like, oh, I have to get this certain ability to really move on. And that ability feels kind of far away. You know, it's like, I got to grind for a little bit to get here. But it was never like enough to deter me from the game.
Okay.
It's because the combat and stuff also feels really fun.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, oh, it's feeling a little grindy. I'm gonna switch up my weapon and like give a different weapon a shot. Like there's so many options going on too. And like every time you go on a run, you can pick totally different boons from totally different gods and be like, and it'll tell you like,
oh, okay.
Because when you die, you lose all your boons.
Okay, so you can keep kind of try these different builds
and
stuff and experiment.
And be like, oh, I'm using this weapon, and I know this boon works really well with this weapon, so I'm going to look out for that lightning bolt because I want a Zeus boon. And there's like, you open up like shops so you can like buy certain things, and you start like seeing a build, but the boons you're getting are totally random at the same time. So you're never going to be able to just like build out exactly what you want.
I like that. That's cool.
I think it gives you a boon and you like get a couple options, you know? So it's be like, oh man, that one's not going to help me at all. But that one's going to work really well because I picked up this other boon 5 rooms back, and those like ping pong off each other or something. So you start to like see patterns in the boons and build them.
It's just like real time, like hack and slash.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of different like enemy types that are all doing like different things. They're all like kind of the grunts, you know, but like they all have like different abilities and ways of attacking you. But then you'll enter a next ring of hell, or what is it just the underworld in Greek mythology? They don't call it hell.
Yeah, I think it's Underworld.
The Underworld.
Yeah.
You'll enter another ring of the Underworld, and all the enemies are totally different because it's a different ring.
So they don't
of the
carry
Underworld.
on from ring to ring.
No,
Okay.
no, they're all totally different.
That's cool.
And
I
like
that.
have different abilities and different bosses and all sorts of stuff.
How long will it take me to beat the game?
I have not beat the game.
Okay, so this
Yes.
isn't like I'm gonna beat it in 2
But
weeks.
I'm not very good at this kind of game. I want to preface that. I'm not very good at this game, but I had so much fun playing it. And I think I was actually talking to Kyle Siebert about this game at Doug's wedding because he was super into this game. And he beat it like super fast because he's really good at it. And he just like chugged through it. And I told him I still haven't beat it. And he's like, what are you doing? Like he was like, oh, so you're just bad.
You're just bad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's definitely not. I would probably say it's not an incredibly hard game to beat. I'm just not particularly good. I also think you don't need to beat this game to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I would say I think I got through like 3 rings.
So I am gonna have to get past 3 rings.
If you want, yeah. I really think you could surpass me pretty quickly. But I think I got through like 3 rings, and there's a pretty significant like checkpoint after that.
Okay.
That took me a really long time to get to, and it takes most people like a week.
Got it.
I really think if you even just got through like 2 rings, like you saw 2 different environments,
That's enough to talk about
you
it.
get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah. I'm excited for you to try
I
this.
am too. Yeah. This is
It's really fun, and it's on the Switch, so you can like really just like bring it
Pull it
anywhere
out
and just pull it out and like do like early on. The runs may take like 5 minutes because you're gonna die pretty quickly because you don't know what you're doing or anything.
Yeah.
But even when you get really good, the runs don't necessarily take a really long time because you're so powerful. You can just rip through the first couple levels,
That's
and
cool.
it
That's a good
feels
feeling.
good. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel so
yeah.
strong, and then you'll like get into a new place you've never been in and like get destroyed because you have to figure out the
humbled
strategy.
immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
humbled. Yeah, and it's just the power curve on it is so good, and
That's
yeah.
fun. I'm excited. Yeah,
I'm pumped for this
I think I'll have some time to play it to really put some hours into it.
Nice. That's good.
No, I'm very excited. And I feel like I haven't found a lot of Switch games that have like really hooked me.
Really hooked onto.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be one. I think
This might be it. Okay.
think, yeah.
I played a little Breath of the Wild, but I didn't buy it. I was playing off someone's else.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. This is a
So,
good one. Yeah. I'm
Hades
pumped. I'm pumped to
on
hear
the
what you
Switch.
think. Yeah.
All right. Very excited. I'm trying to think if there's anything else around that. Get at least 2 rings in.
Yeah.
Might get stuck at some certain points.
I think there's 4 or 5 weapons. I would definitely give like at least 3 of them a try if you can.
Okay.
You know, like
play around.
they changed the game entirely, so you definitely want to try some different weapons.
Okay.
And I would also say this is a game where never skip talking to someone.
Okay.
You know, like usually there's games where it's like, oh, this is never
Yeah.
really gonna matter. I'll just keep
I
skipping
usually
it.
don't.
This is the only game where I literally every time I saw a person, I stopped and talked to them, assuming there was like a prompt. I think it gives you a little notification like there's something new to discuss with this person, and it was always worth it. Like I was never bored talking to someone. It's on the Switch, it's on the PlayStation, on the Xbox, it's on PC, whatever. It's on Mac. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can everyone out there,
think I'll
you can
go
get this
Switch,
game on
but
everything.
yeah.
But I highly recommend Switch just because it doesn't take a lot of computing power, so the Switch handles it perfectly. I never had any run issues with it, and it's just so nice to portably play. Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
This was such a chill episode.
It was a chill
No
episode.
conflict, no
Yeah.
yelling.
I feel like the conflict ones tend to be a little more exciting, but we can have a cozy one every once in a while.
Yeah, come up, get a cup of coffee, cup of tea.
Yeah.
And
Just
listen to
relax
us.
on
yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
exactly. Play some Hades.
You don't need to hear us screaming at each other all the time.
That's for next episode when I say I hate this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't think so.
I
highly
okay.
doubt I'm gonna
I feel like generally we have alternating vibes for the episodes. When I'm reviewing something, it's a chill episode. When you're reviewing something,
is
it
fair.
gets heated.
This is fair.
Because you always have opinions.
I one day I'm just gonna throw you a recommendation, and it's gonna be something that I know you'll hate.
You can't do that. That's
And I
defeats the point.
What if I really like it?
Of the game? But you can't know I'm gonna hate it in advance.
You'll never know.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll never know.
That's
one.
true.
I might tell the audience beforehand. Guys, this is the one.
This is the one.
And we'll see.
All
right.
I just come back loving it.
Yeah. I'd be so mad. I'd be so
you can't
angry.
defeat my optimism.
Yeah. I was born in it. I was forged by it.
I'm the opposite of Bane. I was born in the optimism.
Yeah. All right. I'm Ryan signing off.
I'm Glenn signing off.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.